This is intended to be kind of a story hour. This is kind of a show and tell. If you have questions, feel free to interrupt me. I don't get offended easily. But yeah, if you have questions, feel free to interrupt. If you want to make a comment, same thing. Let's have a conversation about this. Every single time I talk about my experience with this too, people are like, wow, I didn't even know the FBI did that. And I didn't either until I started working with a couple of ex-feds a couple of jobs ago. I was at a startup, and long story short, I got promoted to CISO pretty quickly. I was there for about 5 months as a CISO, but a year and a half before that, writing their security program. And some of the people we worked with for the platform and the tool are ex-FBI and made friends, and they're like, you should do this. So I applied. How to get in is you take a P-test, you do a background check, you have to come back clean. They do a thorough background check, but not super thorough, and I'll get to that here, and I'll explain why. But basically, this whole thing is intended to be an outreach, but they're watching you as much as you are watching them. Most of the people who are attracted to this type of a program are folks who, honestly, I'll just give the stats, they're mostly like middle-aged, older, professionals. There were people though in there that were like, there was one lady who was a ticket taker at Coors Stadium, but then there were like ex-fighter pilots, I mean, it's a whole gamut, but basically they just started doing it in person again because of COVID. But I was one of a class of 40. And all walks of life, and it was really cool. But basically, it's a program where they are taking you through every single branch of the FBI, what they do. It's really good for networking. And after spending like 15 plus years in cyber and you don't know what to do next, and you've gotten your CISO thing done, and you're like, I'm over it. This is something that's really fun. It's eye-opening. And also, too, in the hacking space, it's like spy versus spy, right? Like, you're shaking the Fed's hand, but you've got a bomb behind your back. Same thing. Like, they're suspicious of us and vice versa. And after having gone through this, I will tell you with full honesty that my heart goes out to everyone who protects us so that we can walk around, like I was saying in the hallway, like fat and happy every day. Just walking around, everything's safe. It's not. And the reason why is, we've got good people supporting us. So I'm gonna go ahead and present. All right, I'm gonna talk while you guys can read if you'd like, but why do they care? We've already kind of lightly touched on that, but they do want to have a more positive space within our society and our cities in general. They would like to have a better relationship with, John Q. Public, as it were. We could go into like the myths and all the rabbit side notes about, the average FBI agent being like, white guy, suit, tie. That is not the face of the FBI today. That was 60 years ago, but it's not today. I was actually really relieved and surprised to see there were a fair amount of women, people of color. It was pretty cool. Let's see. Also, if I go too fast, let me know that too. So why should you care? I kind of covered that already too. If you want a new experience and you've got the background and you are an upstanding citizen, go for it. It's fun. You'll meet new people. You'll get to see things and do things normal people, won't be able to do just because they're not exposed to it. I don't know. To me, it was a really cool experience, and now, I've got the experience to say that I've been able to do that, and I've made connections, so it's fun. All right, it's not a recruiting program. You're not going to be approached by an agent after the 12-week course, and you're not going to be offered a job. If you want to work with them, great, but that's an entire, the vetting process just to do this was like this. The vetting process to become an agent, massive. Also, they generally look for younger people right out of college. So if you're thinking about being an agent and you're right out of college, apply now. The life of an agent, as a side note, while you're reading that, let's say you get in, let's say you get accepted to go be an agent, you have to bid on your city. So Denver's actually really coveted because it's the Mile High City. It's beautiful, it's clean, it's quiet, it's kind of remote. There's work to be done, but it's not like here. It's not like New York. So people bid for cities and they constantly travel. They are you have to drop and go. So if you like that lifestyle, it would fit. Okay, this is a lot of words on a slide, and I'm sorry, but there was a lot of this. These are the things that we went over. It was a 12-week course on Wednesday nights. The alumni, you can join the Infraguard as well, but you can also join the BSidesNYC Academy alumni. And they actually provided us with dinner. So you drive to headquarters, you park your car in a secure location, you badge in, you get wanted, you sit, you listen to their talk, whatever the presentation is for the first half, you eat dinner that they bring in, and you go back and you have another talk. These talks were eye-opening. I'm going to do my best too, because I'm also kind of a crier. There was some nights though that I was just telling some of my friends in the lobby where I live about 45 minutes an hour from headquarters in Colorado, and they would tell us stuff in class at night that we weren't allowed to speak about. So I couldn't like just call and get a friend to like cry on his shoulder because I know I would say something. There were some nights though that I just drove home in tears. So, all right, it's fun. If you just go to Google Maps and if you look up your own local branch of the FBI, look at the comments and the reviews. It's fun. It's funny. I know that like the hacking society, we have all these little jokes and memes and like, you know, there's all sorts of that. The feds do it too. They just do it in different ways. Breadsticks, escorts. So, yes, and it's also open carry. Let's see, what do I want to tell you about this slide? Oh yeah, the bomb squad. So, you know the little bomb robots in movies? You know, they like come in and they're like, shh, and you can, you know, they disarm the bomb. Those things are real. I got to touch them. They're adorable. I don't know if I have a picture of them in here, but we were also allowed to take pictures. Super cool. The bomb squad guys were probably my favorite because they're about on my same personality vibe. They were just perky, upbeat, happy, like they love their job. The gentleman who was explaining to us about pipe bombs and how to make them, I now know how to make them without losing my hands, which I probably shouldn't know. Not that I'll ever need that skill, but now I know, and his boss was standing next to him and he's like, shut up. They don't need to know this. But you get passionate and you get excited and you overshare. The Regional Computer Forensics Lab in Colorado is amazing. They have, it's like if you've ever been inside of a giant like office building, maybe 4 times the size of this room, and it's filled with IT equipment and it's filled with like black box stuff. It's neat. And they walk you through it and they show you everything. But it's really also not like, you know, button down, tie, necktie, like stuffy. It's normal people doing normal work. Well, normal work at that level. Let's see. Any questions so far? I know I'm probably leaving things out and I've got 1,000 things to say, but I don't want to go over my time. Caesar he told me, he's like, I'm not going to be rude, but so. All right, oh, there it is. There's the little bomb squad guys. They were literally so cute. Like, I thought it was the best night. It was the first night there. We also did FATS training that night, which is firearm training and security, firearm training safety. It's a literal, like, it's like a video game, but you're standing and you have a literal, like, weighted weapon. It's not a real gun, but it feels like it. And you go through a scenario and you need to shoot the bad guys. That was pretty cool. We went through what weapons of mass destruction actually are. I had no idea, but like ricin actually grows native to Colorado and it's everywhere, but a lot of people don't know it. Let me grab some water real quick. But there are, also too, do you remember back from like, I don't know if you go through like antique shops or whatever, the old radioactive glass? It's still around, especially in Colorado. We have a ton of old antique shops and you can find it and you can actually buy it and people do it and they do bad things with it. So crisis negotiation, this is something you can all use in your families, in your work, at your school, with your kids, with your spouse, your partner, whatever. Minimal encouragers, open-ended questions, reflecting, emotional labeling, paraphrasing, effective pauses, and summary. Just remember more pies, Google it later, or watch this recording. I've actually used that at work. Having been in this field for 15 plus years and doing what I do, I'm a much hardened person as I was 15 years ago. I wish I'd had more pies back then because I would have been able to be more confident early on, but this helps diffuse a situation. So in a hostage negotiation scenario, or if your kid is like, I'm not going to sleep tonight. Okay, minimal encouragers, all right. Open and clear, why don't you want to go to bed tonight? How come? It works, I swear to God it works. My kids are almost 6 and 7. If it works on them, it works on everyone else. Okay, so this is me being ignorant. Yeah, I've been in security for a while, but I don't know everything. None of us know everything about security. If you ever encounter someone who's like, I'm the guru of it, no, they're not. I had no idea that there are people who consider themselves to be sovereign citizens in the United States. They do not have, per their own minds, you're laughing. I was like blown away this night. In their mindset, they don't have to pay taxes. they will not. Like, they are literally on, like, they're living face to face with you, but they are off grid. They are not paying taxes. They're not paying for anything. They will not partake in normal societal supported normalcy that we all just kind of do. This is a fake license plate that the feds grabbed from a car. That's not real. They put it on their car so they didn't have to pay taxes, and so they wouldn't get flagged by police driving down the road. Antifa and all of the various like uprising of like angry youth, those are some of actual shields and armor that they had made for themselves. And again, like, I don't know if I'm going to share the slides, but I can definitely give you a copy. But take a minute and like look what they've run on it. It's psychotic. It's just, it's angry and it's driven and it's passionate. And for that, I'm like, but the purpose of it all is just scary. And these people are, like, again, we walk down the street and we're fat and happy, so it's good stuff. Color of law too. I don't have enough time to get into here within my little window of talking, but I get pretty passionate about that. It's anyone who's a minority or a hidden minority or anything, there's still not that equal justice. There's no equal representation still. And that's something that if you're passionate about it, just Google it and read and then get involved. All right, murder and innocence. So let's see. This is the slide where I can get off onto like a sidetrack and get a little emotional, so I'll try not to. Let's talk about the happy thing. I'm a car guy. I love vehicles. I race go-karts. I fly planes. Love all the things that you can get in and maneuver. That is a tactical tank, essentially. They can drive it up to someone's house, go through it if they want to. The spike you see right there is literally so they can shove it in the ground and the thing will not move. It's bulletproof. It is, and you can't really see. I tried to zoom it in a little bit. I'm gonna step away from the mic for just a second. But again, this is their humor. They're people just like us. Somebody didn't put diesel in it once, and so they have a sticker, diesel, you fuck. Just remember the right fuel. So anyway, these guys, they're cool, but they're also like highly trained, highly technical. They're not scary. I mean, they look scary, but they're not scary. They're just normal people like us. One of the nights that I drove home in tears though, I presented this at BSides Denver in September last year. And at that time, I was still not able to talk about it openly. It's been long enough now, and it's in the news. But Gabby Petito was that little girl who drove with her boyfriend from Florida up to, like, road trip, right? Up to Wyoming. He killed her, moved her body. Her body was found 50 feet from federal territory. So, like, there was, like, Forest Service land, and then dead girl. Because she was that close, like, that far in. It became the feds. It was their problem. The things I couldn't say back then was they were using his cell phone to triangulate where they were. And then they were trying to get him on murder charges before he drove back and killed himself in the swamps by his house. They were trying to get him on theft and theft because he was using her credit cards post-mortem. He was getting into her bank account, spending her cash for gas and food to come back. And so, yeah, the whole thing was really messed up. They didn't really show too many graphic photos. Like, it wasn't a horror movie, but like, just the way she died. And like, there were so many things that happened. The two police that had initially pulled them over the night before, and after like he had beat her up a bit, they were like, just sleep separate tonight, whatever. And then he wound up killing her the next day. So the families of the deceased are now suing those cops, and it's a mess. So that was the first night. That was the first half of my night that night. We went and had dinner. It was very like somber. Came back in, and then we talked about trafficking. It's awful. Happy car. Car is good. Car is good. Actually, picture this. One of the pictures they did share in that night was they had just a regular like 4-door sedan, right? They have the doors open, and you take a picture of this. Think about that in your head. And there's no one in the car. They're like, where are the people in this car? And everybody's like, there were two in behind the firewall, behind the dash. They had cut the fabric out of the seat and then sewn them into the seats. We'll talk about that more about that. It's awful. But people do get trafficked in. And we do have slavery here in America still. There are undocumented workers and slaves literally today. Plantations, farms, really wealthy people. It's a shadier world than you know. All right. I will show you. This is the end of my slides. Do I have enough time for a minute of video? Okay. That's me looking super happy. At the end of the event, you get to go to shoot guns at a firing range and get some gun training. And yeah, it was really fun. And I've got a video of a SWAT demonstration. And then I have other stories too, but if you want to talk to me about it later, I can tell you about that later. All right. Oh, that's right. Did you notice? Spot the Fed. There are 2 in this room right now. I mean, you can look around. I'm not going to point them out, but I know there are 2 in this room right now. I said hi to them earlier. We did not study serial killers. We passed it in brief, but we did not study serial killers at all. And then this was last year. It was Shut the Fuck Up Friday. So, all right. Let me show you the video, and then we'll be good. Hold on. I'll start it over. There we go.
So we have teams set up on the white sides, we have teams set up on the green side, anybody see the sniper come out? Okay. So the announcement is this whole lot of make the right decision, come off, don't surrender, this situation they think it's gonna do. It's not.
There was a guy, and in the back, literally dressed as like a human. Just, it was cool. That's a flash bomb, flash grenade. Another one.
We're making an announcement, give Mr. Smith to make the right decision to come out of the operating now, this situation, they think it's not.
So the entire class, we're up on like a catwalk above the demonstration room, and the SWAT team below us is using live rounds. This is to show you what a typical house raid would be.
Okay, so what we have here, these guys made entry, bad guy here, they engaged them. Our other team made entry on the right side, they pushed up and very well through. See the use of the laser? Well, so that's a link-up, right? So what they're doing is they're communicating both verbally and with the laser, so that we have a positive link-up here, so we avoid any kind of thing on the move. Now, our team is
So they dropped another flash grenade below that guy.
The team is okay. So what we have here, so these guys made entry, bad guy here, they engaged them. Their other team made entry on the right side, they pushed right into the red rose pro. You see the use of a laser, so that's a link up, right? So what they're doing is they're looking at this point and with the laser, so we have an option to have to see what you're doing. We have to put on right now, where someone this point, the team is getting information on the side. At this point, once they're inside directions, they're hearing so they don't know it's indicating someone is being held in the hospital. Okay, so what you see up to this point is kind of a small spot. Now,
In case you can't hear it, they're about to go into the second bedroom of this house. And the scenario is that the bad guy has hostage. So they're to get in there, kill the bad guy, get the good guy out. Yeah. Bit of overkill, but it's fun.
They had information driving them. There was honesty for that
That's my friend Meg. She's a professor at Metro in Denver. She got into. Let's see. I think the rest of it. They're reiterating what they did. They're walking around now, picking up shells. They're making it clean. There's a lot of. We need this now. Huh? All right. A couple of the things, since I do have time, and I talked way too quickly, which is because I'm nervous and I'm not really good. I don't feel like I'm very good at this, but one of the things that they did do was, like I mentioned, a background check. Oh, thank you. Thank you, sir. They do a background check on you to make sure that you're, not a loony bin when you go in and you're going to be at FBI headquarters. They didn't do a thorough enough background check. Another night that I had some emotional stability issues, I'll say, was when they divided the group into 4 teams to go and see the little demonstration on how they lift tire prints, another demonstration on how they lift footprints and fingerprints, another demonstration on that is a chemical that is corrosive and toxic to people. How do we get rid of it? How do we identify it? How do we properly handle it? And then ballistics. So I overshare, but this is Googleable. Like, I've been married twice. My last name used to be Yowler. Yowler and his sister and my ex-brother-in-law were at the theater the night the shooting happened at Aurora. So I was not prepared for this. And I hand to God, legit had to go to therapy after that happened. We were already divorced at that time, but I was still connected to their family. You don't stop caring about people. I wasn't there that night. But I did get calls in the morning the next day and found out that Matt. So anyway, we did all the different demonstrations. Ballistics was last for me. And it's in Colorado, and we have a lot of shootings there. Too many, way too many. And the special agent in charge was standing right next to me. Him and his wife were the first 2 responders at the Boulder King Soopers grocery store shooting. So he's standing here, I'm standing here. There's this big, muscly, ex-military, dude here. And he starts mansplaining after they bring out a 2x3 foot glossy photo. No bodies, but blood and ballistics everywhere. Right here. And I'm like, I thought I buried this ghost a long time ago. I thought I had been over it. I literally put myself through firearms training when that happened, because all of a sudden I developed a phobia of guns. I'm not afraid of guns. You just need to know how to handle them, like we were talking about. So anyway, I thought I had buried that ghost, right? Thought I was over it. Photo comes out. Army guy. Well, it's apparent. He starts mansplaining the murder. It's apparent that the shooter was just randomly aiming at people. And he obviously stood in one space. I'm like, and usually I'm really professional. And you're at FBI, everybody's watching you. You're dressed up. You're nice, right? Usually I have my poop more in a group. And I realize that we have a young person in the audience. I'm watching my mouth for you, my love. So I lost it. I was like, sir, you're effing wrong. The shooter went and methodically walked down the aisle, and my brother died right there. So I started, this, and I couldn't pull it together, but it's also, you're at FBI headquarters. You cannot just step into the hallway and take a break. You are flanked everywhere you go. I couldn't, you were escorted to the bathroom. A woman will come in the not in your stall, but she will walk in the bathroom with you. So I just stood there, rage crying, and the SPAC, I was he grabbed my arm and he's like, you okay? I'm like, I'm fine. It's fine. They all left, and then I just lost it. And he's like, do you need a chaplain? Do you need anything? They were genuinely concerned about this. Now, this is why I can't be an agent, because I can't handle this stuff. And there are people, though, that deal with that and 10 times, 100 times worse on a daily basis that keep us safe. So I think the whole 1950s, 1960s, spy versus spy, I'm shaking your hand, but I've got my bomb behind my back. That stuff needs to go away. We need to partner better. The term hacker, I know it's a scary one, but we're not bad people. They know we're not bad people. And I think it's more about let's get on the same page and see what we can do to protect each other. We had a really long talk last night about critical infrastructure as well. I work in critical infrastructure now, and we need to be able to, as the generations retire, we need to be able to take all of that and protect it and get it to the point where it is not a concern and not a threat. So anyway, I could go off on like 10 different things. Does anyone have any questions for me? Yes. It was 12 weeks. And then you got to spend a day on the range. Found out that I'm a really good shot with a scatter shotgun. Had no idea. Like, it was probably like Mita, the guy in the red shirt, but I got it. Like, it was pretty cool. We also got to fire a couple of other guns that they've retired because mechanically you need to be able to think and react quickly. And these guns kept jamming. So we got to play with like old tech. So that was fun. Yeah. Totally. Yeah, I don't think there's an age limit on the minimum. And I know now that I'm alumni, my kids, because I paid for to join for the lifetime support, whatever, I get to be invited to the range every year. I get to go again on May 6th. But then my kids will have opportunities to join like the FBI like junior groups as they get older if they want to do this. And my 7-year-old's already determined to be a CIA agent, and that's a whole other branch. So, excuse me. It's so the feds are more like government police, CIA is like government spies. So it's two different, but anyway, yeah, you go for it. Like, and if you do want to connect with me on LinkedIn, feel free to try to find me. I've hidden it a bit, but if you can find me, and I think my LinkedIn is actually linked within the presentation, send me a note as to like, hey, I saw your talk, because I get a lot of requests and a lot of people that I don't know. If you don't put a note in there, I won't open up to you because it's my only social. But if you need help with it, I can help write a letter of recommendation. We can talk more about it in depth. I have a friend that's going through it now, and she's a hacker in Denver. She's doing the academy this year. And actually, they sent here, I'll read this to you. She sent me a picture of the email she got because of me being emotional as I am. But here, let me find her real quick. I know, terrible, anticlimactic pause. So they sent out an email that said, all next week, you will hear about our evidence response team. I need to know in advance if any of you have any connection to the Aurora Cedar shooting, as will be talked about during the presentation portion, and there will be some maybe graphic photos on the demonstration. If you have any sort of connection, let me know, and I'll figure out a plan so that you're not uncomfortable or standing in tears. So I've made my legacy. My legacy is known. Not a great legacy, but nonetheless. Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on Infraguard? Do you think it's like a good method, a good solution going forward?
To like help partner? I think yes, but actually they were just breached about 6 months ago, and they've shut the platform down. I had to go through a rescreening and submit other information to like become on the list, and I don't know when they're going to reopen it back up. I think Infraguard is a good first step. I think it's very reactive though, and it's very much them feeding information to us, but it's not, for any relationship to work, it's got to be symbiotic. Like, we should be helping them as well. But it's hard to like, if you've grown up in a society of like suspicion and anxiety and I don't trust you, it's hard to then reach out to the thing that you don't trust and say, let's work together. So that's part of what this is trying to do. I think there could be improvements made. I mean, I've been part of it now for a little while, and it's informative, but there are better ways to do it, I think. But who's going to take on that challenge too? So, anyone? Yeah.
Anybody withdrawn from the program?
Yeah, there was a school teacher in my class. She didn't like it about halfway through, and she just stopped coming.
What about like post-graduation? Like, are you locked in for life?
Oh, well, see, that's the thing. And
Like, will the FBI follow me around for the rest?
Yeah.
Albeit they already are.
So yes, and here's the deal. So when the Infraguard got popped, I actually have a friend who is an ex-Fed, and I've known him since I was little. I called him up, and I'm like, so they just got popped. I went through the academy, and now whenever I apply for a job that needs a background check, it takes twice as long because I have an FBI marker on my profile, like behind the scenes. So now they have to check all the databases, all of them. Like, she's not being looked for by Interpol. She's, whatever. So it always takes twice as long, and I have a really common name also, so it is what it is. But I am on a list. But to quote my friend, and I love him, so I'm not dogging him, but he's like, no one's gonna come after a chubby, middle-aged single mom in the suburbs. You're fine. So you're on a list, but we're all on lists. I mean, our information gets stolen and traded and sold daily. So it's not a bad list to be on. But no, they're not gonna, as soon as you make the checkbox of you're a good person, You're fine. You have nothing to worry about. Anybody else? Did I convince anybody to try this thing? Yeah.
Who are the feds?
Who are the feds? Yeah, the FBI. Oh, in here? I don't know if they want to reveal themselves. Look around. Who would you guess? Let me ask. Who would you guess? It's not me. It's Caesar. Just kidding. Now, if they want to reveal, they can. I don't want to out them. I'll also be at DEF CON and, not BSides Vegas. I don't know if I'm going to be there for that, but I'll be at DEF CON and Black Hat this year too. So if you want to hang out, I'll be there. Also, I'll be at the Day of Security in a month. I know, security, it's silly. But I'll be there in a month talking in California as well on just basic security frameworks. So connect with me. I know people. I can help you know other people that are good. So that's it. That's all I got.